Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Harry Tonino. I'm the Deputy Head of the Global Relations and Development Division in the OECD Center for Tax Policy and Administration. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this session on virtual tax training in times of COVID and beyond. This session is open to the general public and media. We do have right now more than 300 participants connected. So a warm welcome to all of you. Next slide, please. Today, together with my team responsible for the implementation of the Global Relations Programme, the GRP, we will take you through our virtual training activities. Let me note that in 2021, we further expanded our portfolio of virtual training, which comprises now a wide range of live and self-paced training tools. Today, we will provide you with a general overview of the whole GRP learning ecosystem, a brief summary of the activities that we implemented last year in 2021. We will also briefly refer to recent developments in our evaluation and assessment.
Harry?
Yes.
Sorry, Harry, do you have headset? Because there is an echo.
Okay, let me try. Is it better now?
For the moment, yes.
Okay, and if we can check if everybody is muted.
No. We have the echo.
No.
Well, you also have an echo on the, I think it's problem of Zoom.
It seems we all have an echo.
Perhaps.
Maybe it's the audio of Adrian. He's sharing the screen.
Let me try again. Is now the sound clear?
Yeah.
It seems so. Okay, thank you very much. So I was mentioning that today we will provide you with a brief overview of all our training activities available under our program. We will also then focus on the plans for 2022. The obvious focus in 2022 will be on capacity building.
The echo.
Okay. What about now? It seems good. So yes. My apologies again. I was mentioning that we will discuss the plans for 2022 with an obvious focus on activities to support countries in implementing the two-pillar solution to address the tax challenges of the digitalized economy. And let me also note that tomorrow, at the same time and in the same virtual room, there will be a session meant to present the overall plan to provide support to developing countries on the two-pillar solution. But today, we will present to you the activities, mainly training activities, that are meant to complement the broader OECD efforts in supporting developing countries implement this solution. Last but not least, the knowledge sharing platform, aka the KSP, which is the gateway to all our training activities, will be introduced. We will focus on some key functionalities as well as on some new features of the KSP. This session will also feature interventions by country representatives and partners who regularly engage in our activities and support the delivery of our program. We will hear their views and their perspectives, which will definitely enrich the discussion. Let me also invite all of you to actively participate through the chat function. Feel free to post comments or questions that you may have. If possible, we will try to address the questions live while we present. Otherwise, time permitting, we will try to address some of those questions at the end in a Q&A session. Now, if we had met in person today, it would have been relatively easy to engage with you on a personal level and get to know you. Right now, we have more than 300 participants connected online, and clearly going for a round of introductions is not an option today. So we thought that it could be useful just to ask you a couple of poll questions to get to know the audience a bit better and understand if you have previously engaged in our activities. And this is the purpose of the first poll question. We would like to ask you whether you have participated in any GRP capacity building activities in the past. It's a simple yes or no question. And I would like to ask my colleague Nestor to launch the poll.
Yes, I think we got a decent quorum of responses. Harry, shall I end the poll and share the results? I'm sharing the results now.
Okay, I can see that 1/4 of you have already engaged and participated in our activities. 3/4 of you have not. So we have a quite diverse pool of participants today, and we will try to provide those of you who are not familiar with the GRP program with all relevant information. And now, among those who have already participated in our activities, next slide, please. We would like to ask you what are the main reasons for you to attend our events. You have 3 options there. The first one, you participated at your manager's request. Second, you participated since it was the easiest way to keep up to date with international tax developments. Third, you participated since you could benefit from the content of that activity to deal with a specific case at work. Let me ask Nestor to launch this second poll.
As this question is only for those that answered yes in the previous one, we may have a lower number of responses, I think.
And I think we got pretty much a good number of those who responded yes to the previous one, Nestor, so we can close it.
I'm sharing the results now.
Yeah, show the results. Thank you very much. So here it's clear that there is a large majority of you who participated in our events, since it was the easiest way to keep up to date with development. So this is an important element to ensure that we carry out our activities in a way that will allow you to remain abreast of all the recent developments in international taxation. Now, without further ado, let me give the floor to the first colleague from the team who will be presenting on the 2021 activities. Let me introduce you my colleague Koji Ono, who is Senior Advisor in our division. Koji, over to you.
Let me provide a brief overview of last year's program. Due to the continued challenges posed by COVID-19 and related to travel restrictions, we delivered our training activities through a combination of virtual live events and self-paced tools. This allowed us to have more than 6,000 participants in our 42 virtual workshops, with a large majority of them co-hosted by multilateral tax centers and partner organizations. On top of that, we trained over 11,000 tax officials via virtual self-paced tools, including 6 new e-learning modules and 8 recorded webinars. Tax officials from more than 180 countries and jurisdictions participated in our activities. Our program has also become more inclusive, with increased accessibility to training and tools in multiple languages and with a more equal gender balance. We are very glad with what the Global Relations Program managed to achieve last year, which couldn't have been possible without our users and without the support of our donors and partners and the valuable contribution of 88 country experts. Next slide, please. COVID-19 posed challenges to our program, but also opportunities. Not only the virtual format of our activities allowed us to welcome a much larger number of participants, but it also made participation easier for tax officials who may face greater challenges in attending face-to-face events. This slide shows the testimonial from one of our participants who noted that due to his personal physical limitations, which usually make it difficult for him to go to normal face-to-face conferences, for the first time in his 20-year experience working in a tax environment, he was able to attend an international tax conference and experience other countries' views and problems. In light of the benefits of remote training, we expect that we will continue to deliver part of our activities through virtual means, even when the sanitary situation will improve and allow to resume in-person events. Thank you. Over to Anna.
Thank you, Koji. So we wanted to share with you that we implemented a number of changes in the evaluation system to reflect the changes that the entire Global Relations Program had to make because of COVID-19. So currently we have a first level of evaluation, which consists of a satisfaction survey that is distributed to every participant that attends one of our live events. And they provide us feedback to be able to identify what are the strengths to continue doing this and areas of improvement. We implemented changes also in the methodology, and this has allowed us to increase, importantly, the participation from the participants that responded to this survey. We are currently in the average of 70 or 80% per event, whereas before we were receiving around 40% of surveys filled. So this is something that we are very happy about because we can gather more information to continue improving the Global Relations Program. We have also implemented changes in the second level of evaluation. We have a survey to be able to assess the longer term impact of the training that tax officials receive in their daily work. And so we distribute a survey twice per year in March and November. So if you have attended 1, 2, or 10 events, you will receive one survey and you will be asked a number of questions that will allow us to assess the impact that our training is having in your work life. So I would like to share with you the results that we obtained from one of the surveys that was distributed last year on the impact assessment. You will be able to see from the screen that we have identified the program to be effective, engaging, enriching, and enabling. We're very happy to see that the vast majority of the people that have answered this survey are consider that the knowledge that they acquire is useful in their daily professional life. So this means that they are not only accessing our training because they want to be up to date with the changes, which are many and constant, of international tax environment, but also because they require this for their personal use in their work. And also that the vast majority have applied the knowledge acquired in their daily work. So our next step will be to see how is it that this is happening with specific events within the countries that have access to our training. I will now like to invite 2 of our participants to share their experience. So I will hand over to Lilian Roman, who is the head of technical advice in the Vice Ministry of Tax in Paraguay. Lilian, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. For this time, I will speak in Spanish. Es un placer para mí compartir con todos.
So it's with great pleasure that I'm able to share with you the experience that we've had and that Paraguay continues to have as regards the virtual training sessions in the Global Relationship Programme, the GRP. Paraguay is currently going through quite an important stage of changes within its taxation system. You know, we've got the transfer pricing changes 2021. We've got all the renegotiating of our agreements, etc. And we've got other digital preoccupations as well. And so we can see that the programme has been really fundamental when it's come to capacity building for the officials of our tax authority, both in terms of those functionaries or those officials that were there or had been in their jobs for some time, so as to update them as regards the new topics coming to the fore on the international arena, and as well for new people who are just recently joined into this field of work and who would like to really get into more detail and find out this knowledge through these courses that can basically be taken at your own pace, and we can find out about transfer pricing systems, negotiation of agreements, or the use that we can give to the investigators or other auditors can make of this programme. So Paraguay is really grateful for having been part of this, and we really would like to see that the OECD programmes have allowed us to onboard these practices in the least possible timeframe possible, and we've continued to roll out these good practices. Thank you so much. This really does mean so much for countries such as ours, so as to be able to continue capacity building and professionalizing our colleagues and all of us in general. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Lilian. And now I turn over.
Thank you so much, Lillian.
Musa. He's a senior tax official in the Ministry of Finance of Benin. Jacobo, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending from where you are listening to me. I'm delighted to be part of this big event, which has been organized by OECD. The COVID-19 pandemic is the most significant health crisis that the world has faced in the past 100 years. And the activities of tax administration in my country have been impacted not only in core business, but also in our capacity building. As training shifts virtually because of the pandemic, the Directorate General of Taxes in Benin has adopted online channels for capacity building in internal and international level. As a benefit, it has allowed and it has permitted our staff to stay safe. It is time saving. For example, if we take the example of the unnecessary long period of time taken to fill the information that is needed to require a visa and to go for in-person seminars, we have saved a lot of time and a lot of money. Also, it has helped us to mitigate the risk. It has helped us, our administration, to improve the ITC capacity and improve the learning platform. The online channels, virtual learning, also help to increase efficiency because it is more flexible, and a large number of audience have a chance to attend to the seminars that has been organized online. That is the experience that we have in Benin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will talk a bit more about working closer while keeping the distance. As my colleague Koji said, we were not able to organize physical events during the past 2 years due to the COVID pandemic, but this didn't prevent us to work closely with the multilateral tax centers which did an outstanding effort in order to co-host virtual workshops. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Claudia Scheringer, who will be speaking about the Austrian MTC experience. Over to you, Claudia.
Thank you, Adrian, and thank you for the invitation and to share some experiences with you. I work at the Federal Academy of Finance, and we have in the past year 3 events via Zoom with the OECD. And I want to point out some key facts before, during, and after the virtual classroom or virtual hosts. The first is be prepared. That means you have to organize what's to do, who will do this, and to check the technical infrastructure, the security, and to communicate and exchange information about experts and participants. And during the meeting, it's a very important thing to be attentive, because you're responsible to during the meeting and the sessions that it runs smoothly. That means you have to mute the microphone, close cameras if they're on and not allowed, and support participants and also experts, and to communicate the breaks. It's the best thing in this way during the meeting. And after the lessons, you give a review about lessons learned. There are 3 important questions. What should be done in a better way next time? What must be changed? And what is going on smoothly, and you can do it next time in the same way. The benefits for the MTC, and also I think for the OECD, is you have a short term to plan this event, because it's virtual, it saves costs, as the colleague from Benin told before. You need less personnel to support, and you can do your daily work after and before the session is. And also you have a quick transfer of knowledge in a short time when you attend a webinar or a session. And there is no infrastructure needed in the MTC where I work, and there is no limited number of participants to attend. As the colleague before told, the participant can attend the meeting 20 years in working in the tax office. A little not so benefit is that there are some time differences. You have to plan the meeting in different time zones, and you have during the webinar no interactive parts or less interactive parts between participants and experts. There's no socializing in the break. You can change or exchange contact informations or for further cooperations, or you can talk about. But to sum up, it's always a pleasure working with the OECD and the support team of the OECD, and also the seminar leader Nestor. We are glad to work with you in the summer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. And now let me guide you a bit more through the learning ecosystem. So the GRP has been evolving throughout the years, and now we're taking advantage of the new technologies in order to complement the in-person training events. So as my colleague said before, we have the live training and also the self-paced training. If we talk about the live training, of course, the main events have been the in-person training events that unfortunately will not resume until the pandemic situation improves. Those events normally take place in our MTCs throughout the week. And during those events, participants are able to share practices, best practices, experiences, and go through case studies and discuss them with peers and also experts. Then we created 2 years ago the virtual workshops. There are three days trainings with sessions that last between 3 to 4 hours, and that are held via video conference, in which they feature presentations, discussions, and also case studies. And we integrated tools such as the breakout rooms to discuss those case studies, and the video chat in order to communicate with the expert and other colleagues. And also we have the live webinars and the Q&A sessions. My colleague Nestor will guide you through the Q&A sessions afterwards. But let's say that those live webinars feature presentations covering core aspects of selected topics, and they set out the foundation for more in-depth training afterwards. Then, if we move through the self-paced block, we have the e-learning courses, which are online modules that last between 45 to 60 minutes, and that they provide us solid knowledge of key issues on a topic. We also try to integrate components, interactive components, in order to ensure the participant engagement throughout the course. And once the participant finishes the e-learning module through the self-assessment test, he receives a certificate of completion. Then, of course, we have the recorded webinars, which are selected recordings of previously held live webinars and virtual workshops, and recordings of live presentations specially designed to introduce the fundamentals on a specific topic. And finally, we have the training capsules, which last for around 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, which are videos raising awareness of emerging issues or related initiatives, and that introduce basic relevant concepts. And over to you, Julia.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Thank you, Adrian. I was saying that I'm sure that many of our participants today will find this very interesting, as we saw from the poll question that many of you have not attended before one of our capacity building events. As my colleague Adrian explained, we have a very, very comprehensive learning ecosystem that has a bunch of different products, from e-learning to virtual classes to recorded webinars. And I would like to present to you now what topics are we covering with our training. As you can see in this slide, we cover more than 10 topics related to tax matters. These range from tax treaties, transfer pricing. We have a lot of courses on BEPS as well. Tax and digitalization. This is actually a training package that we are launching next year to cover the recent measures from the OECD, as I will explain later on. Also exchange of information, tax administration, VAT, with we recently launched e-learning modules on the topic, tax and crime as well, including the recent tax and crime maturity model, tax and the SDGs, tax morale, environmental taxes, and tax administration digitalization. All these topics are offered in different formats, as Adrian explained. So you will be able to find learning materials in the format of a short e-learning course, of a virtual class with OECD experts, of recorded sessions, recorded webinars that you can access whenever you want. So I would like to invite you to visit the Global Relations website, where you will find details on each of these products. And I would like to introduce now, next slide, please. Our colleague Kalin Onusko from the ADB, who will tell us a little bit more about the importance of having these tools available for developing countries from the perspective of our regional partner, the ADB. Thank you, Kalin. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Julia. Hello, everyone. On behalf of ADB, I'd like to express our support for the use of virtual learning tools. We find that virtual training is very beneficial for our developing member countries, particularly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions on traveling. Virtual training has become essential, And it's through this virtual format that ADB is continuing to support our member countries with implementing the needed tax reforms to their systems. It's also very likely that virtual training will continue to play a very important role in our technical assistance activities, even as the world slowly begins to open up. With the increasing demand for training in the area of taxation by our developing member countries, virtual tools are one of the ways to address this demand. Virtual training also enables us to reach a greater number of people, with more officials being able to participate in these types of activities. The virtual setting also allows us to join with a wide range of development partners and regional bodies to engage in assistance globally. This gives us the opportunity to raise awareness of the types of assistance that are available to tax administrations, to stimulate strategic dialogue, and to engage in knowledge sharing. One very successful virtual learning tool that ADB, in collaboration with the OECD and the Global Forum, produced is the e-learning course on beneficial ownership. This course does form part of ADB's technical assistance activities, and we highly encourage the officials from our member countries to complete this class. Since its release in 2020, hundreds of officials have completed this course, which is now available in English, French, and Spanish. The success of this e-learning course is very encouraging, and ADB looks forward to continuing our partnership with the OECD in developing more virtual learning tools. With this, I'd like to thank the OECD for inviting the ADB to give this very short intervention, and I'll turn it back to Julia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kylie. I would like to introduce to you now the 2022 plans of the Global Relations Programme. So as we discussed before, we have very different kinds of products. In the area of live trainings, we will be releasing 30 virtual workshops and 12 live webinars. These will be complemented with new self-paced tools, including 5 new e-learning modules and 15 recorded webinars. And finally, in terms of languages, which is also something very important to us, because we try to have all our trainings, and especially the e-learning courses, available in English, Spanish, and French. So in terms of languages, we will have 10 new e-learning module translations, and 8 different languages will be used in GRP activities with the support of different experts. So next slide, please. In order to access all this information with more detail, you can visit the GRP calendar of events by clicking on the link on the screen. We will share this presentation with you after this event. And there you will be able to see the dates, the different kinds of products, and the months in which these will be released. For the moment, on the website, only the events and the learning products that will be available on the first semester of this year are posted. This is because those planned for the second semester will be published later on. So I invite you all to visit and see with calm after the event all the training offer that we have available on our website, and register to those topics of your interest. As I mentioned as well, and I know that this is one of the topics that is probably of the biggest interest for many of you today here, we will be launching a very comprehensive package of trainings covering specifically the Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 proposals of the tax challenges arising from the digitalization of the economy. So you will be also able to find all these learning products there. Thanks a lot, and I would like to pass it over to my colleague Nestor now.
Thank you very much, Julia. And yes, well, based on feedback we received last year, I would like to present some of the key features of the 2022 Global Relations Programme and training activities. So some of these features you will see are also to address part of the challenges that Claudia mentioned before with regard to the virtual format that we had to adapt our program in the last 2 years. So the first one is that we will continue working hard on translating e-learning models and providing simultaneous interpretation to live virtual events. It's important. It's important for participants to be included and to be able to understand these events, these activities, this training. And so we will continue our efforts to do that. Also, this year we are organizing at least 2 events per specific topic. One organized will take place in the morning in Paris time, so that will be more time friendly for those participants and tax officials that live in Asia Pacific. And then we will have the second version taking place PM in the afternoon Paris time, so that to be more time friendly for participants, for tax officials in the Americas in general. You know that our headquarters are here in Europe, in Paris. So Europeans and Africa in general will be able to participate in either of these events per topic. That's a second feature. A third feature, and it has to do again with some of the challenges that Claudia pointed out very well, is how we address the need for more interaction, for more live interaction with experts, between experts and participants. Something that before the pandemic we used to have a lot in the coffee breaks, in the corridors, through questions and answers, immediately questions and answers during the in-person events. So what we are trying to do now is to implement some sessions, some specific sessions that are more informal, that will be for participants to ask their questions, hopefully written questions that they present in advance, that submit in advance, so that the experts can prepare the answers, can elaborate, for example, on certain case studies. So the idea is having more live interaction between experts and participants. So these are short sessions that follow, and this is in connection to the next slide, please, Adrian. Normally, these question and answer sessions will be part of a blended learning approach, in which we are trying to implement this year. And this blended learning approach consists in first inviting participants or interested participants, tax officials mostly, to take some e-learning models, existing e-learning models that our team has developed, all to watch some recorded webinars from past events on specific topics. They're not very long. E-learning models, normally they last around 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And recorded webinars, they will be around 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So they can watch and take those tools, learning tools, at their own pace and convenience, wherever they are. So this provides participants with more flexibility, for example, to take those e-learning models after work hours or whenever it is more convenient for them. The second element of this blended learning approach is that they will have the opportunity through KSP discussion forums that we have organized, or through direct emails to the team, to the experts, to ask their questions in relation to the e-learning models or recorded webinars, the specific topic discussed therein. So they will be able to write questions, and participants will address these questions to the experts, who will be able to prepare the answers to these questions in advance, to the final element of the blended learning approach, which is basically meeting live the experts through these question and answer sessions, where the experts will interact with participants in a more informal way, will answer live questions made immediately in the moment, and also address the questions that were submitted in advance through these channels. I think keep this in mind, because the next slides that will be presented by Anna, my colleague Anna, will apply this blended learning approach with regard to the Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 solutions to the challenges arising from the digitalization of the economy. Please, Anna.
Thank you, Nestor. So Julia did a small introduction on this, and if we are going to give you just a short taste on what multilateral training looks like for the two-pillar solution to address challenges of digitalization. If you want the full picture, you have to come back tomorrow at the same time in the same channel, and we will be able to provide the full picture for you. So as Nestor was mentioning, we will follow the blended learning approach. We call it the virtual blended learning approach because we were doing already blended learning before COVID. So this is like 2.0 blended learning, where there will be a number of recorded webinars made available to participants on the fundamentals and on more specific topics. And coupled with materials that are already available, they will become an e-learning module. So by the end of the year and the beginning of next year, we are expected to have, I think it's 6 e-learning modules on different topics related to digitalization. These recorded webinars are going to be supplemented by live training. So if you go and visit our calendar of events that was shared earlier by Adrian on the screen and by Eve in the chat box, you will see that there are a number of live training events on this topic scheduled throughout the year. There will be live Q&A sessions. So it's this shorter sessions where you are able to pose specific questions on the issues that were discussed on the recorded webinars. And there will be also more comprehensive and a tad longer virtual classes where you will have the opportunity to discuss on selected advanced topics of each pillar 1 and pillar 2, depending. So if we move on to the next slide, you will see how our training program looks like. And one thing I would like to mention is that, as you all know, this is constantly, we are constantly evolving in this work. So we have some room and flexibility to be able to make some adjustments to the program. So it's nothing written in stone, but we are working very hard to keep it the closest possible to what you're looking into the slide. So you will see, just by way of example, in the first quarter, we are deemed to have 4 recorded webinars, fundamentals of pillar 1. So they will cover amount A and amount B and tax certainty, and also fundamentals of pillar 2 with the globe rules and the subject to tax rule. And then we will also have more specific on the globe rules and one on the impact assessment of both pillars. This is what is envisaged for the first quarter, so the next 6 weeks or so. And there will also be a live Q&A session to be able to address questions related to this recorded webinar. This will continue throughout the year, and you will see that they will be put together in different e-learnings. So by the end of the year, we should be having an e-learning on pillar 1, an e-learning on pillar 2, and 2 additional e-learnings. And those are composed of part 1 and part 2. This is why I said 6 earlier. And there will also be e-learnings on multilateral approaches to specific issues under pillar 1 and 2. So there will be one on the multilateral convention, and there will be one on the multilateral instrument to be able to harmonize the subject to tax rule under pillar 2 throughout the year. And again, you can visit our calendar events. You will see that there are a number of live Q&A sessions and also virtual classes. So we are hoping that you will be able to get out a lot of information from the Global Relations Program on the digitalization work. And for countries, developing countries that work with the OECD, often through the inclusive framework, we also have other approaches that will be discussed tomorrow. And that, again, I invite you to join us to learn more. So with this, we will go ahead and see a short video on the knowledge sharing platform. We received already some questions in the chat, so you will be able to see how it functions. And afterwards, Jessica Rose Bush from the Canada Revenue Agency will be taking over. Thank you.
The Knowledge Sharing Platform for Tax Administrations, or the KSPTA, is a global online resource for sharing knowledge and expertise in tax administration. The KSPTA is designed to increase access to reference and training material, to coordinate and manage events, and to increase opportunities for ongoing support and discussion. The KSPTA is a collaborative work tool. The training materials section on the KSPTA website is a simple way for you to register for e-learning courses or to explore a virtual library of tax-related topics. You can also register for worldwide tax-related events directly through the KSPTA calendar of events. Once registered, you can access event material and communicate with event organizers and participants. As an event organizer, you can manage your events online, from registration to evaluation. Everything needed to share tax capacity building knowledge is in one place. The Communities of Practice section allows you to interact with peers and experts in discussion forums and webinars. Use the briefcase function to customize your personal experience on the KSPTA. The KSPTA uses technology to provide new ways to develop tax capacity building skills. There are many reasons why you should consider the KSPTA. You can connect with the global tax administration community and access the platform anytime, anywhere from any device. You can also access material in multiple languages and personalize the platform to meet your learning needs. Take advantage of all the KSPTA has to offer. Register using your work email address at www.ksp-ta.org. Contact the KSPTA team at info@ksp-ta.org for help with registration or to find out more.
Thank you very much, Anna. So everyone just saw an overview of how the platform works and what is available through the platform. I also wanted to give a bit of an update of the new KSPTA features that were released over the last year. What you'll see when you log on is that there are new tools for contributors. So anyone uploading content, that we've increased the file size for individual uploads to 4 gigabytes, which means there's still unlimited storage for you can upload as much content as you like, but each file can now be up to 4 gigabytes, which means more videos. So we've added a video player to the events area. You can upload videos directly into your event and they will play on the platform. This is an added security feature so that the links to the videos cannot be shared and the access is only granted to participants. We've also added new analytics. With this release, hub administrators and contributors can view and download details about their content. With the click of a button, you can see how often your material was accessed, when, from which country, and much more. We've also included information about the different versions of content that you've posted and language, so you can look at different iterations as well, and we have statistics on that. For the user side of things, we've enhanced the user experience. Now within e-learning, users can access their detailed learning history. So we are keeping a description of all the courses that people have taken. And you can also download your certificates from your completed courses. So there's a history there now that wasn't there in the past. There's a new login page. These enhanced features resolve a lot of the most common questions or issues that users have in registration, and it gives you additional self-service account help options so that account help is available 24/7. We've also made some of the most used areas mobile friendly. We've optimized the events calendar so that everything now is viewable on one screen, making it easy to search for events and see descriptions. We've also optimized the e-learning registration page for mobile. Those are all the current updates. Now over to Harry for a poll question.
Thank you very much, Jessica, and a big thank you to the whole KSP team at the Canada Revenue Agency. These are very useful updates to the platform that sure thing will enhance even further the user's experience. And indeed, we are approaching the end of this session, but we would like to ask another couple of poll questions. The first one being on the KSP. And we would like to ask you, which content would you like to see on the KSP in the future? We do have 5 options here. Number 1, audit tools. Number 2, digitalization, so materials, for instance, related to modernizing client services. Number 3, IT services. Number 4, soft skills. And number 5, content on tax and crime. So I think interpreters have already translated that. So now Nestor can launch the poll. Thank you.
I think we are getting to quorum for representative response. So we'll end the poll.
Okay, thank you very much, Nestor. So now we can see the results on the screen. There seems to be a lot of interest for content on audit tools, digitalization, and the winner is tax and crime. So we will definitely take this into consideration when planning for the production of future content. And now, very final poll question is about, asking you, based on all the information that we share with you today, which kind of training activities are you most keen in attending in 2022? So here we have a list of the different tools available under the GRP program, and please let us know which one in your view is the one that you think you will be more keen in attending in 2022. 5 options. Number 1, virtual workshops. Number 2, short live webinars, sometimes in the form of Q&A sessions. Number 3, e-learning modules. Number 4, training video capsules. And number 5, recorded webinars. So we can launch the poll, Nestor. I don't see the poll on the screen.
It is working.
It's working. Okay, good.
Yes. And people is voting very quickly. So we are about to reach the quorum. Yes, I think we can end the poll now and share the results.
Okay. Thank you, Nestor. So here the winner is e-learning modules with a 57%, followed by virtual workshops. And I think this fit well with the approach that we will be taking this year, what Anna described, this blended learning approach, where we will have first self-paced training with the e-learning modules, recorded webinars, and interactive Q&A sessions, complemented by virtual workshops where we will be dealing with more detailed analysis of the rules and the new standards. Thank you so much. Now we are approaching the end of this session. I saw that there were many questions in the chat, and most of those questions have been addressed by colleagues directly in the chat. But in concluding, I would like to take the opportunity to thank, first of all our partners, including regional tax organizations, regional development banks, a number of other international organizations which are working on a regular basis with us on the implementation of our activities. And last but not least, our donor countries who provide voluntary contribution to support our program. And next slide, please. Also, a big thank you to the broader pool of donors who are supporting the OECD capacity building activities that go beyond the Global Relations Program. So thanks to the contribution of these donors, we are able to provide not only training under the GRP program, but we are also able to provide bilateral technical assistance and bespoke capacity building in the field. Many thanks to all the colleagues who participated in this session. A thank you to the interpreters, and most importantly, a big thank you to the country representatives from Benin and Paraguay for your testimonials. Thank you to the colleague from the Vienna Multilateral Tax Center and Kelin from ADB. And thank you also to the KSP team for providing information about the platform. And last but not least, a big thank you goes to all of you, the participants, since I hope that having had 3/4 of the audience today new to the GRP, I really hope that this was an opportunity for you to learn more about our program and our activities. It was mentioned in the chat that this presentation will be made available in the next few days online on the webpage of these 2 days of tax and development in 3 languages, and the presentations will be made available in English. Also, you find on this final slide our email address, and I would like to encourage all of you to get in touch with us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And the last thing that I would like to mention is that we regularly share updates with a pool of country experts and participants in our activities. We have a mailing list, and twice per year we share a bulletin with information on activities that we have implemented and on activities planned for the following months. So if you are interested in receiving a copy of the bulletin, please send us an email to our email address that you see on this slide, and we will include you in the mailing list. So this is all from our end. It was really a pleasure to see such a big number of participants. And from the whole GRP team, we wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully we will be seeing you soon in person, not only online. Thank you very much.